Hi, professional marketer William Georgeson here from williamgeorgeson.com. My question to you, how to handle questions and objections in such a way that your prospect actually feels that they have to buy your business, your product in order to get around, and achieve what they want to achieve. If this is you, feel free, stay tuned to listen in. I've got some cool stuff that I want to share with you. I mean, let's be honest. They just has been sharing with you that they want to earn $10,000 a month, and all of a sudden they put an excuse in front of it. What has happened? What's happening behind the scenes here? I also would like you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I daily and very regularly add content regarding building our own business, especially if you are doing it part-time. Also, don't forget to click on that alarm, that bell notification, so that you know when I upload the next training. Right, let's get stuck into it. Let's say you are driving down the road and you are on your way to the next city, next town. You're driving an open road and you're going to attend the event there, and here you go. Road is clear, everything is all set and go. And the next moment, a bug flies across the road and it hits your screen. And it's a big splash. You know, the remains of the bug sits there in your screen, and it might be here on the side, and it might be right in front of you. You might have to, look around it. For a moment, it's natural. We're going to be looking at this, and we're going to be having to look on the road. And if it's in front of you, it's even worse, because you're now going to have to, look past it. And if you keep on looking at that bug, I mean, you can only sort of glance, and then you have to look on the road again, back onto the road again, because it will take seconds, and you will be off the road, and you will be involved in an accident. So you actually have to sort of get rid of this bug, because it's going to, so to speak, bug you the whole of the journey. I mean, it's just there. It's in your way, it's in your face, and you want to get rid of it, and you start losing focus of the road. The longer you leave this bug on the windscreen, the remains of the bug on the windscreen, I mean, the wind, what that blows on the screen will actually dry it out. And, as bad as it sounds, and those remains of this bug will be harder to get off. The windscreen wipers then will not be able to get it off. So you got to get this bug off. You got to switch on the windscreen washers, and you're going to switch on the windscreen wipers and get rid of this bug in front of you, so that you can actually, look at the road. And especially if it's right in front of you in your vision. Isn't it the same with business? Isn't it the same when we are prospecting or we're speaking with somebody and they come up with a bug? A bug hits the screen, so to speak. Better than saying the boo-boo hits the fan. Now, the same happens here, as I said. I mean, you speak with this customer, this prospect or prospective customer, and they've stated the $10,000 a month goal and dream, and the next moment they put an excuse right in front of you. What is critical here? What's critical for you and I? We must know. We just must know what they want to achieve, where they want to go, where their road is leading them to, so that if that bug appears, that you know where they're going to go, and you can remind them of where they want to go. Now, the same as the bug that appears on your windscreen, that splashes on your windscreen when you drive the car. When you leave this objection, this excuse, if you leave it on their screen, what's going to happen? I'll tell you what, if you don't remove that bug immediately, they're going to be looking at it. They're going to be focusing on it. I've seen it so many times, and this is so different from what I've been taught before in this industry. When I just got into this industry, I was told that first make sure that there's no other objections, and go through and go on, and they might see the value. No, they don't. Once they've got this bug there, once they've got this excuse there, they will be looking at it, they will be concentrating on it, and throughout the rest of the online objection, throughout the rest of the conversation, even if they join your business, if they buy your product, that bug will still be there, that excuse will still be there. You've got to handle it right there and then. The best is to deal with it, then come back to the conversation, and then to carry on. Now, I know when somebody is watching an online presentation, it might not be, it might not work out that way, but once you get on the phone with him or get onto Messenger with him straight after they watch the presentation, that's the time to find out if a bug hit the windscreen, if an excuse came into the way, and you got to deal with it right there and then. If you don't, that excuse will stay, and it will just trip them up. It absolutely will just trip them up. They might go in, I've seen people going into businesses and they're there for a year or two, and they might be doing all right, and then they just leave because that bug is still there. That excuse has never been dealt with. Now, sorry. As I said, and there's something here that I want you to remember. Please, and if they take nothing out of this training, if you take nothing but this one statement that I'm going to do here out of this training, then you've gained a lot. Remember this. Always remember that when you say something in removing this bug from the windscreen, in removing their excuse, if you say something, it can and it will be challenged. But if they say it, it must be the truth. Just remember that. Just think of that for a moment. I mean, I moved countries in my life before. And let's say just from South Africa to here. And I've got my reasons why I moved. And if somebody asks me now, I'll say that this is my reasons why I moved. And I say because I must justify my move. And but there's people that who are still living there. You know, I've got friends that are still living there. I've got family still living there. If I ask them why they're still there, they're going to say the reasons why they didn't leave. And but they also feel they're right. I feel I'm right, and they feel they're right. They must also justify why they didn't go. And this is the same thing here. Once you've made a decision, once you've said something, once you've made a statement, then you are protecting that statement, that move that you've made, that thing that you've said. And it's the same for your prospect. He's human like you and I. They protect whatever they've said. And if they said they don't have time, then they're going to be standing by, you know, that I don't have time, or I don't have money, or, you know, this is not me, or whatever it is. And you cannot just challenge it. If you just challenge it, they will challenge you. If you just say a response that's actually going against what they've said, then they protect what they've said, what they've done. They protect what they move, so to speak. And that it just will not be a good outcome. So whatever you say, your response here is very, very, very critical. You've got to make sure that you are not getting challenged. Now, here's the way that I suggest that you handle an excuse and objection. You've got to change the way that they look at it. You've got to say something, you've got to respond with something that got to make them think, wow, maybe he's got a point there, you know, maybe she's got a point there, maybe I'm not, you know, completely right here. But you should not say that. They got to come to the conclusion themselves. That is very important. It's really critical. An example: if I speak with John, and John says, and we get to the part of the conversation where John says, William, I'm working 60 to 70 hours a week. I've just got no time. I just have no time. And a good response will be, or a possible response will be, John, you're working 70 hours a week. How long are you still going to be able to carry on doing that? And when you ask that question, be that person. Be in his shoes. Be in her shoes. Become your prospect for the moment, working 70 hours a week. And, you know, think, if I'm working 70 hours a week, what am I going to do? I've got a family. How long am I still going to be able to do it? You know, if I carry on doing it, I will never have time to start a business. You know, you've got to get into that way of thinking. But you have to become your prospect for that moment. You've got to have to be able to say, and use empathy and really be genuine when you say this. Don't just say it just because you've got to say something. Really be your prospect for that moment. I've got a 10-part series in training which I call how to sell yourself first. And that's part of it. You've got to become your prospect at some point, or during this process, so that you can really see it from their point of view. So that is one way that you can do it. You know, ask them a question, give them a response that might change their way of looking at it. They change their way of thinking about it. And without you saying it, they must come to the realization that, hang on, I cannot carry on doing this. Another example will be, and also maybe before I get to the next one, when you do this, you got to gauge your assertiveness. If it is somebody that you've just met, you've got to be careful, because they don't like it, that know, like, and trust factor is not completely established, and they might feel that you're a bit in their face if you're like really assertive with this. You've got to sort of gauge yourself so that you say enough but not too much. And so be careful. You know, always, you know, be aware of how your prospect, how they react at what you say. If it is a team member, let's say you've got a team member for a year or two, and your team member says, I don't want to do videos, you know, or I don't want to do Facebook Live, I don't want to do whatever, in the marketing process, in the business process. Then you can be a bit more assertive, because you obviously know your teammate, you know, for some time. You can say, hey, you know, I completely hear what you say, but if you have a prospect, if you have somebody coming to you saying they don't have time, if you entertain that excuse, how are you going to get them around it? You know, can you see that? You can put a little bit more emphasis on it. You can be a little bit more in the space, so to speak. because you know them a little bit more, and they will be a bit more forgiving. And but still, again, what you want to come to is to make your teammate, think about it differently, because they've stated already now that they, won't have time to do this business activity, or they don't have the money, or whatever they don't have. But you've got to get to the point where you make them think of, what will I say if a prospect, or if a customer or somebody tells me the same thing? Because if you entertain that, if you say you don't have time, there's no way that you're going to be able to handle a prospect's excuse or objection if they say they don't have time, because you are entertaining it. You're going to be feeling fake. And when you're feeling that fake, it won't be easy for you to do it. And they most probably going to feel there's something wrong, there's something holding back, and you will not get them past that because you entertain the same thing. So it's just like that. It just happens that way. The other way to do it is to tell a story. Have a little bit of a story bank of stories. So let's say if somebody says, I don't have time, I don't have money, whatever, you've got a little story, and not just a beer story, a real story, something that has happened. Doesn't have to be you, can be somebody else. And Ray Higdon, and let me give him all kudos to this, he told a story once, I heard it on a podcast once, where he said he sat in a room in a business opportunity meeting and or an event, and somebody came onto stage to give a speech, and the person had obviously done well in the company, rank advanced, the rest of it. And when the person started giving his speech, he did it in sign language. And he then said he sat in that room, and it was like, wow, I've got so much, that person cannot speak, and this is a business where we actually communicate. Communication is the biggest asset that you have. If you tell something like that, then, depending on what your prospect, the excuse that they give, if you tell something like that, something that makes them think, wow, how can I sit here and say I don't have time, whilst somebody else, has got this and this situation, and they're much worse off than I am. What excuse do I have? And I don't say send them on a guilt trip, but just make them think different. Just change the way of thinking so that they look at it from a different point of view. That's what you want there. Now, I just wanted to, if you want, I want to ask you this. That's right. I don't want to go more into that details. I want to ask you the question: how would it feel if prospects come to you, and you don't have to go and get them? How would it feel for you if prospects come to you and you don't have to go and seek for them, and they come to you? Because what will happen? And the reason why I'm asking this question is when somebody comes to you, you sort of, your excuses or your the objections is sort of minimized. It's almost erased if somebody comes to you, because then they come to you and they want what you have. Versus when you go out there, when you prospect, when you actively prospect, and I've got nothing against prospecting, it's a great way of getting people or customers. But if you prospect, then you will get a lot of excuses, you will get a lot of objections. But when somebody comes to you, then it means that you've done passive marketing, and they are seeing what you're doing, and they like what you're doing, they like what you sell, and they then come to you and say, I want to be part of this, I want to know more about this. Once you get to that point, then there's so much less resistance, because they want this. And there might be a little bit here, price might be an issue, or whatever might be an issue, but it's not a biggie when they want it. Because let's face it, if you want to buy something, is price really a problem? No. If you find the value in it, then you will buy it. So if you would like to erase objections, please let me know. There's a link right below this video. Click on that link, and that will take you to a system, and I'll be in contact with you, and I'll be assisting you as much and as good as I can in getting to a point in your life, in your business life, where you can almost erase objections by the way of attracting people to you so that they actually come to you. So my friends, that's all. I do appreciate your time. I hope you enjoyed this training. You found value in it. And till the next one, take care. Thank you.